Good day, collective. It's the Most High's baby girl, Sadi Rose, coming to you with another message of the day. All praise to the Most High God. Love to the mother. Please like, follow, comment. I am looking for that pearl or pearls, as they would say. One person that's ready to listen. Just listen, not even agree, but just listen is what I seek, just in terms of sharing what I know, sharing what I've learned on my journey, and trying to help y'all think through things as they're happening to you in your journey of life. And y'all can help me too, because I'm very, very, very much still in the journey, and I will continue to be throughout all my life. But today's message is always be your authentic self. When I think about what makes Sadi Rose, this is one quality that definitely makes Sadi Rose Sadi. My name literally means the one that tells the truth. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely have my moments, or I've had my moments where I've lied. One of the worst lies I told was when I was like 13 and I broke my glasses mowing the grass, and I came in and told my mama, oh, it was a swarm of bees, they attacked me. It was a horrible lie, and she remembered it, but I felt so guilty. I ended up eventually telling the truth. I despise lying, y'all. I don't like not standing in truth. So many of us wear masks, depending on who we're trying to people please, whether it's our family, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a job, whether it's friends, whether you just, kind of grandstanding for your social media, clout, status, industry, whatever. So many of us have so many different masks, and those masks change depending on who we're talking to. We have these we have these images that we try to hold up about who, to reflect what the world tells us we should be, versus just standing and truly who we are. Like, I'm that person. Like, when I was going through the stuff in my last relationship, most people, when they're going through things, don't tell nobody anything. But I stood in my experience. I stood in that. And it wasn't pretty. And yeah, I looked like a fool because of the bad decisions that I had made, the individual I had let in my life, despite all the red flags that I kept close to me and my kids. There was a lot of judgment. And there was a lot of judgment about whether or not I should release that person, given that it's, family structure and you go through things together and you should take the abuse. There were a lot of people but you know what? I think standing in your, being authentic, being honest about what's happening to you. It doesn't mean that you got to tell everybody your business. But if you're going through something and it's happening to you and you're not ashamed of it, somebody asks you a question, yeah, I'm going through that. How can you support me? I'm a single mom. Yes, I'm in a very bad situation. I had people walk away from me because of it, because they were so judgmental of my situation or what I was going to do, what I should do, whether I was over exaggerating, whether I was lying, whether or not they really wanted to care to even be in my business. And so I had a lot of people distance themselves from me. But the thing is, when you stand in who you really are and what you're really doing, the release that needs to happen, the voluntary release of people, places, and things that aren't in alignment with you, they'll happen. And you might be sad that people walk away from you, or that people just naturally gravitate out of your energy space. But they weren't supposed to be with you if they're not going to stand with you through the hardest, darkest times of your life. We are still, even though I'm on this journey of light and love, we very much still I still have a shadow that I'm working through. I've done a lot of work looking at myself, healing myself, identifying challenges with myself, but I'm still human. One example was this week, and I'm on a board, right? And for whatever reason, I just support in the way that I needed to. I had a 2-hour board meeting, and I had my 2 boys there too. Man, they was cutting up, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm sitting there trying to listen. They sitting there trying to talk to me on a board meeting, and I'm on Zoom like, I'm trying to keep it together, because at this moment, there are all kinds of thoughts going through my mind. Like, man, I don't have the support I need right here at this moment. And I got people in my life, but they not here. And, man, I don't know how I can ever do all this stuff if I got all these thoughts going through my mind. And then one of my boys, who's really like rambunctious, he gets on the glass table while I'm on a call, and he's about ready to like fully launch himself off the table. So only thing I thought about at that time was my baby is going to bust his head open. So I didn't think to like put off my video. It was on mute. I didn't think, but like all the board members saw was me being like, and I heard them, it was the mad mama face. And all I remember hearing in the chair was she saying no, no, no. And I was like, oh, Lord. They're so used to me being a board attorney. Let me the resolution. And in that moment, in that glimmer, they saw one of my roles, which is mama. And I didn't care what they saw at that moment. I didn't, my face was all crazy. And they saw me mad, or they saw me alarmed because I was screaming at my son, you better not jump, you better not jump. And so that all they could see was that. They didn't have any context. And at first, after the call, I was like embarrassed, I was humiliated. And I'm like, man, this is who I am. I'm a mother. I work all the time. Doing extra stuff is hard on me. And when I have real moments like that, at that moment, I didn't care. Like, I had to make sure my son was okay. And so if they're going to not be in alignment with me, and if they're going to judge me based on that or think of me differently, then that's fine. They can think those things. And if they're out of alignment because of that, then maybe it's time to release. And I'm not saying that's what actually has happened. I don't think that's the case with this specific example. I'm just giving an example as when things like that happen to you and you're processing and how it's affecting you real time. Like, don't be ashamed to be your real self. I always show up my real self. Like, and that's to a detriment sometimes, because people gonna get, I'm a straight shooter, no chase. I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you exactly who I am, so you can make a decision whether or not you want to be in my energy space. So you can make a decision whether or not you want to be affiliated with me. And it might hurt both of us, but at least we're being real. So my message to you is stand on who you are. Start identifying the mask that you wear and throughout your life. And if it feels disruptive, if you are not happy being who you're purporting to be to whoever, if it makes you feel unaligned, if it makes you feel bad, if it makes you unhappy, then, like how I said in a previous message, take one at a time. Start identifying who you're faking to be in different environments and start dismantling those false identities, because you can't be grounded in who you are and know who you are for your higher self, for your greatest good, for improving yourself, until you start dismantling these false identities. Start with one and start dismantling it. And once you start clearing, it doesn't all have to happen at once, but once you start kind of taking away the false narratives of false personalities, the fake things that illusions about who you are to different people, then you can start figuring out who you are. And once you figure out who you are, you can start choosing to heal. Because you might not like who you are when you get done with dismantling these masks. Then you heal. And when you heal enough, then you can start setting your intentions about what you would like to achieve for your highest good. But you got to do the healing work, and you got to first even identify and recognize that you're wearing a mask in the first place. So always be your true self. In order to grow, in order to improve, in order to achieve your destiny, that's what you got to do.